still see gaps within the front, and we didn't spread that far to reach Stalingrad, but we did spread quite far to reach northern Finland and all the lands north to Leningrad right there. The Soviets, it looks like they're fighting the battles in other parts too. So these Soviet troops that are coming over here to fight us, they are probably fighting all over Soviet Union. I'm going to turn off the blitzing stance and we'll go for an attack stance here. That will make us a little bit more careful. It looks like what's happening now is just solely the lack of the lack of divisions. We just don't have enough. That's it. I could send additional maybe a few 100,000 troops in very hard armor, but I'll do that only when the things will look really bad. I need to make this nuclear reactor. But first we'll finish this corps of tanks. We need the reactor to build a nuke. So here in the south we're marching forward. Once again we got ourselves a gap towards Baku oil fields in Stalingrad, but you know how it worked out for the Nazis. It didn't work out very well. However, here when it comes to Moscow, Moscow is very well defended. We are unable to break through. In the far north, that I'm talking about, Finland, we're winning. They are trapped here. They're probably undersupplied, they don't have that much, and so we should soon clear them out from there. In these regions obviously we are being contested. Look at that, we just made a spearhead, but we are out of organization, incapable of fighting. We're doing the same as the Nazis did, going towards Stalingrad and the Baku fields. We'll take this region uncontested, but however, this will spread our forces, will make us weaker on the center and probably in the north. However, the way I see it is that they have stopped us, but there's no way that they could push us back. I think it's just a war of attrition, and we have 900,000 troops to fight with, and they have gaps in the front. Let's see how this front looks like. We're not launching any attacks. I'm on attack stance, so that means that we fight the battles that we think we're going to win, and we take more time reorganizing and doing less sort of suicide-like attacks that we would do on a blitzing stance. On a blitzing stance, everybody attacks where they think they might win. Look at that. We're descending on the south. There's almost no troops in the south. However, obviously, this will spread the front as thin as it can probably be spread. Look at that. That's how thin it can be. That's incredibly, outstandingly thin. It couldn't get any thinner than that. This is just crazy. Like, I mean, one thing is to have from Leningrad to Stalingrad, but the other thing is to turn and have like 50% more space that you have to occupy with your divisions. It's good that the Soviets don't have that much. The center is still being completely held by the French. And look at that. They're all going somewhere. Not even all divisions are actually even fighting. That's because these guys rebelled, so obviously it's a sort of a Stauffenberg kind of thing happened, you know. Many troops just rebelled on us here. Obviously it wasn't Stauffenberg, but you get it. Sort of a reserve army starts to clear out SS and raise troops of its own. But this time it wasn't us who were fooled, or the Nazis, but it was just a rebellion, a very good one. Well, now when the front is so thin, I'm not sure if the Soviets do have a better advantage. Let's see, all these frontier provinces are manned by Soviet divisions. These are not just HQs that occupy space. No, these are proper divisions. And it looks to me that Moscow must fall. The front has never been so thin, so every month we get a wider and wider front. Now that the rebellion has been dealt with here, more and more troops are being sent back to the front line. And as I mentioned before, I see it a lot more of a attrition war than anything else. Oppose any ideas of that kind. We won't be one of them. As you can see, we don't have any more troops here in Finland. However, the French are still trying to clear all of them out. And that's obviously taking a couple of armies or one army to do all that work. Fighting is happening all over the place, and we finally got the front as far as it can go. I mean, if it would go even further, it would be just incredible. Impossible. I'm not even sure how they can man it all. Otherwise, if we would be fighting in just somewhere Europe, then they would have at least 2 divisions per province. Now they don't. As you can see, most of the divisions have supplies. I'm not going to change my attack stance because we're doing so good. However, here we are having massive supply issues. And there's 29 divisions here. As you can see, a lot of divisions are being tied in there. But we're still moving, and finally we have gaps in this run there, so obviously quite a few good surrounds occurred there. And but they managed to even it out and counterattacked. There's a very heavy tank division there. And it looks like they're able to man all of those front provinces that would otherwise be open due to our extreme advance. It's like a super flank where at the same time we're spreading, but we're spreading their forces thin too. And what does that mean? That means the gaps close to Moscow can open. I think that the time they lose Moscow is going to be the time that they lose the whole war. Now, as you can see, they have brought troops here too. And we cannot break through here. Unfortunately, for us, we cannot. And at one time, I can't even see the full map. It looks like in some areas we're even actually retreating, which is a little bit surprising. I'm going into defensive stance now, and I'm going to see how things are going. If we'll do that, I suspect that the Soviets are counterattacking now, and I'll have to send additional forces to help. They definitely are counterattacking here in the south region. Here we almost don't have organization or supplies, so supply issues are incredibly bad. Yeah, the things are starting to look really dire due to supply issues, and the Soviets are obviously not suffering supply issues. Look at this straight line. This is a super straight line. I've never seen it like this before. Normally the front doesn't go that straight. Yeah, we are suffering greatly from supply issues. And that's the way it is. If we won't take Moscow, we probably are not going to win this. Finally, this region is soon to be taken over. That will mean that all those troops are going to be sent back to man this position here where the Soviets have been successfully launching their counterattack, which I didn't like because this is exactly what happened to the Nazis. They were advancing incredibly perfectly, and then they started to suffer heavily from Soviet counterattacks that they couldn't defend against without retreating. And in here it looks like there's a possibility of a even potential circle here. However, the Soviets are manning these positions very well. I'm on a defensive stance myself. We don't know much about the Soviets. However, I would like to. It looks like they have a lot of manpower, more than we can field. They're building divisions, many divisions. They have all the resources they would ever need. Their industry is small though, but it's capable of producing many divisions every year. So things are looking bad after all. However, the Moscow is in our grasp so far. They have 29% left, until they surrender. So they're broken. Obviously they know that the allies are deep into the territory, but they still hold the circle there that is protecting Moscow from certain defeat. We are suffering supply issues. We're just not receiving enough supply, actually. I'm going to speak with the French and offer them land lease. That means they're gonna take some of our IC, probably. Oh no, I'll have to give it to them. So I'll give them, what, about 200, just to see if maybe they're gonna build up some more supplies with that. It would be a disaster if it would be cut off here. We would have to go through Crimea back, and that would be a disastrous operation. So the front has definitely stabilized. The winter is coming. We're being pushed back. I gave a land lease. Some more upgrades are incoming. I gave a land lease to the French, so hopefully the French are going to use it wisely. Okay. 145 will do. For now, I need the upgrades. A lot of units must be upgraded, as you can see. Our small arms are of a designs that were never seen in the real World War. I can see that there are more battles coming in. It could be that it's because of the land lease. Okay, what we can do here. I'm going to lower my supply need. Increase the land lease. We'll have it at 40, like that. Let's see if this works out. And does that mean we'll get some more supplies soon? Clear? I think we are, but I don't know. I think I see a lot more battles. It's just that these battles are not as successful as I would like them to be. And we are close to Moscow, but just not close enough. And now I can finally see the full front, so we squeezed it a little bit. We're launching another offensive now. Just imagine if we would be able to surround all of them. That would be incredible. The only thing I need is a bunch of reinforcements now. Many of my troops have been upgraded. And all those armies from Finland should now be more and more marching from north south. However, they were incapable of doing that. The Finnish, obviously in Finland, entire cities rebel there. Now we can see the full front line here. and they were obviously incapable of defending themselves here in the south. And we are launching a massive counterattack here. Look at all those supplies that we are having. However, we're trying to surround them here. That's actually an incredible achievement, that would be, but received supplies 0. Okay, so some provinces do end up with the supplies, some provinces don't end up with the supply, and that's the thing. However, you see, this war is like lasting for quite a long time. They do have a full front. It's incredible. However, in an overall, they did launch the massive counteroffensive, but now furthermore we're pushing them forward little by little. They are unable to just gain that initiative, you know what I mean? In here everybody's out of supply too. That's why we cannot deal with the finish there. So this is going to drag probably another year. Probably eventually we'll just be able to surround all of them. And this is what I'm going to order them to do. And go for an attack stance. If we could surround them here, that would be an amazing achievement.